vitality or animate, i.e. your belief system, your reasoning, your behavior, everything that makes you, you. Everything that makes you, you. Is that the life that it's talking about? Come on in. There we are. But
as you were, Shane.
I didn't know you went by Jonathan.
I know, right?
Who's this Jonathan?
Yeah, we don't know that guy.
But this life that we're talking about isn't your physical form. It's not your living, breathing, heart beating, bleeding self. This life is everything that someone sees you as. Well, I mean, what do we see Tate as? Is the light.
Don't answer.
Yeah, exactly. We're working on getting a little brighter. But the light is what people see this as, and this is how people know what you have. This is the kind of thing that actually sees that your good works don't mean anything like this. They're actually, and I love the word illuminated by, that whenever someone sees, because and like I said, we'll get to a story here that it's so funny the way God works. They just showed this, that just revealed itself in an incredible way, that there are plenty of good things, good people that may not have that light behind them, but you are supposed to show yourself in such a way that it brings attention to it. I'm going to read a quick little excerpt. I'm going to tell you the name and who to credit it with afterwards, but because that's actually a key part of the story. But these words are much better than I could ever use, and the name of the article is 10 Tips for Christian Evangelism. I'm kind of carrying on what Tate talked about last week as far as evangelism, but I'll tell you the rest of the article name and what it's by later. But people will figure out whether they like you, want to be close to you, or have anything to learn from you in how you behave, far more than anything that you say. If you are convinced that a life in Christ is transformative and that it makes you salt and light to the world, such as that they envy you and want to know what you have, then just do it. Just be salt and light. Just live according to the way you think Jesus wants you to live, and let people be pulled like magnets. Trust that your love, your peace, your thoughtfulness, your wisdom, your self-discipline, your patience, your graciousness, your compassion, your generosity, your forgiveness, and your overall healthy relationships with others will all speak for themselves. Don't go up to people and tell them where to get these things. Make them unable not to see these things for themselves and what you do, and then they will just ask. If they want to learn anything from you, people are drawn to leaders, and the best leaders lead by example. Isn't that powerful? Here's the mind-blowing part. The rest of that article is 10 Christian Tips for Evangelism from an Atheist. The guy that actually wrote that's name is Dan Finke. Dan Finke actually was an evangelical Christian for the majority of his life and has been a converted and powerful, when I say powerful, one of the most published atheists on this planet. He actually has his own website and actually owns a website called Atheist for Religion. I'll post the link to this whole, because it's an incredible site. But Dan Finke, that's who that was wrote by, was a former evangelical Christian atheist telling us Christians how to reach out to him. I said, think of that whatever you may. I know I pulled some, whatever the source of it, I know I pulled some powerful stuff from it. And it was incredibly helpful to me. And of course, in my inquisitive nature, I started doing a little bit of backstory, and I actually found Mr. Finke. I found Mr. Finke's Facebook. I reached out to Mr. Finke. Mr. Finke responded to me in half an hour. And actually, I've been talking to him up until about 4 hours ago. He is an incredibly bright, kind, knew exactly what this was for, man. The way he expresses himself is one of the most powerful I've ever seen. And he is just a genuinely kind individual. But where his kind words and where his grammar actually, because I've spent all week just reading this guy's stuff. I've been fascinated. Because I eventually just asked the question once I got his permission to use this, told him what it was for, make sure he didn't mind. Dan actually, I just straight up asked him, I was like, man, I don't know if you can answer this as quick as I want you to, or if you can just send me to the sources, but why are you an atheist? I said, I'm not about to try to engage this guy, because I will get into that a little later. But I just asked him, why are you an atheist? And he sent me some links to some good stuff. Could never really get a complete answer from him. Like I said, there were some ways, and like I said, he talked positive about a lot of Christian influences in his life. Talked a lot of negative about some experiences he had in his life. But essentially, what I dove down to is it was all relational. It wasn't anything against anything we have or we do. It was completely relational. That's kind of what I guess I drove him away. I guess now obviously he has a PhD in philosophy from Fordham University. I mean, the guy is a brilliant man, and he can eloquently express his thoughts amazingly. But essentially, what I kind of dove down to is he's relational, and so that's why